Here's the previous story for Secret of Lost Souls. Imagine a mirror that doesn't just reflect you, but shows you the exact moment of your death. It doesn't matter if you're ready to see it. Once you look, the mirror's curse begins. There's a little antique shop in the heart of a small, sleepy town. The kind of shop that doesn't stand out, that people pass by without even noticing. But those who live nearby know it holds something dark, a secret kept behind dusty shelves and locked doors. Among the relics and forgotten trinkets sits a mirror, carefully covered, hidden from sight. But why would a mirror be hidden away? Because legend has it that whoever gazes into it sees not just their reflection, but the precise moment of their death. Years ago, a young woman named Sarah moved to this quiet town. She was new, eager to explore, and always on the lookout for something unusual, something exciting. One rainy afternoon, she stumbled upon the antique shop by chance. The place was barely visible from the street, its windows dusty, and its sign so faded she almost missed it. But something about the shop drew her in. Inside, it was dark and quiet, with old lamps casting soft golden light across shelves lined with relics, old clocks, tarnished jewelry, and furniture that seemed to creak with memories of long-forgotten lives. As Sarah wandered, she overheard a hushed conversation between the shopkeeper and an elderly woman. They were talking about a mirror, something hidden in the back room. The shopkeeper's voice was filled with tension as he warned her, "Stay away from that mirror. Anyone who looks in it sees their death. It's not a joke, not some trick. The mirror's cursed. You do well to avoid it." Sarah's heart raced with curiosity. She didn't believe in curses or supernatural nonsense. The idea of a haunted mirror seemed ridiculous, the kind of story you'd hear in a horror movie. But something about the way the shopkeeper spoke lingered with her, a strange, almost fearful look in his eyes that sent a shiver down her spine. And despite herself, she couldn't stop thinking about it. She wanted to see it. Just a quick look. After the shop closed that night, Sarah returned. The rain had stopped and fog settled in over the town, muffling every sound. She slipped around to the back, her heart pounding, as if some invisible force were pushing her forward, daring her. She tried the door and found it unlocked. With a deep breath, she crept inside, her footsteps echoing through the quiet shop. She made her way to the back room, where she'd heard the shopkeeper mention the mirror was kept. There it stood, a tall, elegant piece, covered in a heavy, black cloth, its silver frame tarnished and detailed with ornate carvings. The shop seemed to breathe around her, the silence almost oppressive. She felt an overwhelming urge to leave, but pushed it aside, her curiosity stronger than her fear. Taking a shaky breath, she pulled back the cloth, revealing the mirror. At first, she only saw herself. Her reflection looked back, a little pale, a little tense, but otherwise normal. She laughed at herself at the absurdity of it all, feeling a bit embarrassed for believing in silly superstitions. But then, her reflection changed. She couldn't look away, even as her face in the mirror grew paler, her eyes widening in horror. She saw herself as if older, with deep lines of fear etched across her face. Then, her reflection reached up, clutching her throat, gasping as if struggling for air. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah's life became a nightmare. Every night she woke at the same time, 3:03 a.m., the icy dread gripping her. Her friends noticed the changes too, how pale she'd become, the dark circles under her eyes. When she tried to explain, they brushed it off as stress, laughed at her for letting a simple mirror scare her. But she knew it was more than that. The mirror had marked her, and she could feel its curse tightening around her like a noose. Finally, desperate and terrified, Sarah decided she would destroy the mirror. She couldn't keep living under its shadow, haunted by a vision of her own death. She returned to the shop after hours, carrying a hammer. She broke in, her hands trembling as she made her way to the back room. There it was, the mirror, uncovered, standing in the dark, almost as if it had been waiting for her. She raised the hammer, ready to smash it, to shatter its hold over her. But as she lifted it, she caught a glimpse of herself in the glass. This time, her reflection wasn't just her. It was exactly as she'd seen before. Older, terrified, clutching her throat, gasping for breath. The mirror showed her final moments once again, almost as if to remind her of her fate. In that instant, she froze, her hand dropping the hammer as dread filled her. She realized that breaking the mirror wouldn't save her. The vision was set, unchangeable. Sarah left the shop that night, feeling defeated, the weight of her fate pressing down on her. She tried to live normally, tried to ignore the feeling of impending doom, but it lingered, a shadow she couldn't shake. And one night, it finally came true. Her neighbor found her the next morning, her lifeless body lying on the floor, a look of terror frozen on her face. The doctors called it a heart attack, an inexplicable sudden event. But the time of her death, the mirror remains in that little shop, locked away in the back, still waiting for its next visitor. Some say it feeds on fear, on the lives of those foolish enough to look too closely, and others believe that it merely shows the truth, that it reveals what's destined to happen, with or without the mirror's intervention. But one thing is certain, once you've seen your death in that mirror, there's no escaping it. So the next time you see your reflection, think twice. Some things were never meant to be seen, and once you do, they're impossible to forget. If this story chilled you to the bone, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again on Secret of Lost Souls. Perhaps the next story will be about you.